Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to a Saturday night edition, very special hybrid edition of the One Bitcoin Show. Today is October the 24th. That's the birthday of an ex-girlfriend of mine. 2020. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin, one day closer to an all-time high. Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. We'll talk about that. Compete, don't complain. All right. Hello, my elite friends. If you have questions, I have answers. You can ask about Beyond Bitcoin subjects. You can ask about Bitcoin. Tomorrow's the real Beyond Bitcoin show, but we're going to combine current events, philosophy with Bitcoin on this hybrid One Bitcoin show. Here, it's almost midnight in Salt Lake City, but I'm wide awake. All right. Now, let's start off with the Bitcoin tweet from the great Udi. Do a super chat. Do BitcoinMeister, I'll answer your questions. But Udi said, the entire point of Bitcoin is setting the rules of the game once and never change them so that players can focus on creating value. Yes, the entire point, you set the rules of the game once and you never change them, and then the players can focus on creating value. I've been saying this for a while. It's called the rule of law. And that's something that's missing from society today. And what he points out is that in altcoins, they can just change the rules and benefit certain people who know that the rules are about to be changed. The beauty of Bitcoin, it doesn't change. It's solid like a freaking rock. That might sound boring to some people. Some people like change for the sake of change. Dude, stability. Okay, you build it on the rock there. So the rule of law is in Bitcoin. In a world where the rule of law and the rules of the game are constantly changing now in politics and so much in nation statehood. It's wild stuff. But in Bitcoin, that's why it's the security truth machine. And I'm glad Udi has that tweet about that on this lovely Saturday. So I'm going to even talk about 80%er type of events, okay? Because the 80% entered into Bitcoin today. There was definitely an 80%er story in Bitcoin today that is worth mentioning, okay? Kanye West was on the Joe Rogan show, okay? And Bitcoin, there's a clip how he thinks it's going to liberate humanity, okay? West, it's linked to below. Check it out. He's saying a lot of gobbledygook in it, and I don't think he fully understands Bitcoin, but he does mention it in a very positive way, and people have clipped it. It's marketing to a segment of the population that might not hear about Bitcoin like we hear about Bitcoin, and a lot of Joe Rogan's audience might not. Well, some of the people tuning in are probably just are not just Joe Rogan fans or Kanye West fans because he doesn't appear on Joe Rogan show. I guess this is his first time on Joe Rogan show. I don't even know. But I mean, there are more Joe Rogan fans that know about Bitcoin than Kanye West fans. I'm pretty sure. But still, it got mentioned on a tremendous podcast today by a person that is known throughout the world, a very big 80%er star. And West never touches on Bitcoin again in the 3-hour conversation with Rogan. So he talks about it for 90 seconds in 3 hours. Okay. But people are making clips of it, and that's good. It's going around social media. His conception of freedom appears to be rooted in the premise that the political system and thus the banking system is racist. Okay. Yeah. Okay. His reasons are, they're his reasons. All right. But it's out there. Now, what's my conclusion from this little 80%er moment in Bitcoin? I'm not going to put him on a pedestal. I'm happy that it's going to make news all over that Kanye West talked about Bitcoin. But I'm almost willing to bet that by the end of 2021, because he's an impulsive type of guy, okay? And he may have some, they've said he's got some, he takes medication for possible mental issues. I don't know. He's a creative guy. There's no doubt about that. But here's my take on him and Bitcoin. By the end of 2021, he'll probably have his own altcoin. How about that? Is that a good takeaway from Kanye being on Joe Rogan? And he's free to do that. It's more likely that Kanye is going to have his own altcoin than Kanye is going to become a huge, serious fan of Bitcoin. Do you guys agree with that one? Leave it in the comments section if you do. But still, I'm not gonna. This is not a negative that he's talking about it. Nor would it be a negative that if he starts his own altcoin, which I bet he does. It will bring people. It will give them knowledge of cryptocurrency, which will give them knowledge of Bitcoin. So Kanye, whatever reasons you're into Bitcoin today, welcome to Bitcoin, I guess, and keep talking about it. I do not agree with the economic system is racist. I do not agree about. I don't agree. Well, the only way it could be considered racist is if one group, if there are government policies that are favoring one group. So maybe it is because there are definitely minority set-asides within the fascist system, economic system that's in the United States right now. But I don't care about that. You can, in the current United States system, you can succeed no matter what. You really have there's a lot of opportunity out there in the golden age of Bitcoin in the United States of America. And I don't see a better place to be right now if you want to be in Bitcoin and you want to become quite successful. So sure, I don't worry about the government obstacles. Okay, now. So the productive strike back with words. And of course, the productive strike back with staying in motion too, with staying productive. And what do they strike back again? Well, today, the SJWs, the envious, the mainstream, it's cool to attack the good, to attack the successful, to attack the productive. And few people want to fit in, so they just join in the chorus. Jeff Bezos is a villain. Mark Zuckerberg is a villain because they're billionaires. Billionaires are villains. That's the productive. Giving us Twitter, and Twitter's morphed into insanity. But it is. Imagine the world without Twitter. Imagine the world without the social media giants that are out there. They've given us a lot. Look what YouTube has done for me. I'm not happy with YouTube with all the craziness that's going on. But look, I've learned so much from YouTube. I've done quite well with YouTube and the show and learning about Bitcoin, teaching others about Bitcoin. This is the good, okay? They are good products. They are productive stuff. But people are envious. And in today's world, it's just the common refrain is hate on the good, hate on the productive. And I'm just, if you are productive, don't take it. Don't turn the other cheek. This isn't the New Testament here. This is the real freaking world. Pound that like button. I'm not turning the other cheek. Now I'm not going out of my way to attack and destroy people, but with words, I will continue to strike back. And I might start a show that analyzes, some mainstream article. Because mainstream articles come out all the time that vilify the good, okay? That try to make us compliant, try to make us feel guilty to that we're successful. And I'm going to have a show possibly where I'm just going to have straight talk about it. And say, you know what? The truth hurts. You're a loser. You are a loser if you're going to hate on the good, okay? If you're that envious. And you can change your ways if you want to. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I'm not going to pretend that it's normal to hate on the good. Now, so I'm starting to sound like Yaron Brook here. And Yaron, and I don't agree with Yaron Brook all the time. But he has a great definition on his show of social justice. I linked to it below at the 52-minute mark, okay? And you should listen to at least that part of the show. You should also retweet this show, dudes. I'm putting it, if you're watching this right now, I'm putting that out there in the chat. If you married a Kardashian, you'd be medicated too. Yeah, that's probably true. That's so. I don't know if he's crazy. Then, very very good point you make there, John. My buddy in California, John. Let's call. I can't pronounce your last name this late at night, dude. But I hope you're having a good time out in Malibu and you're hanging with one of the Kardashians. There's no doubt that they're not loyal to their men, so you could have one if you want. Okay, now moving on. Pound that like button and pound that big Kardashian. You know what? So, but always wear protection while over in that area. Now let's see. So social justice is the opposite of justice. Justice is getting what you deserve. Don't judge people with social justice. They don't judge people on their virtues. They judge them on their need. They don't judge people on how productive they are. They judge them on how unproductive they are. Their need is a claim on your life, and their need must be met. Society is unjust because there are needs we don't supply. So that's what social justice is about. Yaron Brook put that out there, and I think it's a very good way of explaining it. And so social justice is not possible in Bitcoin, okay? You can't take away the productivity of someone in Bitcoin. You cannot take away their Bitcoin and give it the unconfiscatable aspect of Bitcoin stops SJW in their tracks, okay? Now, there could be someone who is guilty and they can freely give away their Bitcoin if they want to, all right? They can feel guilty and everything like that. But if you want to get away from the social justice world, okay, the social justice narrative, and you want to judge people on how productive they are, you come to Bitcoin. Because that's the thing. You get your Bitcoin because you're productive, all right? And this is the world of virtues over here in the Bitcoin overlay. And social justice, though, man, is like, he really framed it nicely, though, that like if someone has a need, I mean, they're not going to get that need themselves. You owe them. And that's justice, because someone has a need, and then you fulfill their need, even if they don't deserve what they need, supposedly what they want. And so it's completely backwards. So it's not justice at all. It is not justice at all. So the trees should get what the in motion people have earned, is what social justice is about. And yeah. I'm glad I'm not there. I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. I will comment on it though. So it's overall, the whole social justice narrative is part of the attack on progress, and that's what we're living through today. It's a general attack on progress when you guilt people about them being successful. When you say billionaires should be illegal, it is an attack on progress, because the striving for success, striving for Mars, trying to attain incredible goals, that is progress. And when you want to shut all that down, I mean, that is a vicious attack on progress. And an attack on progress, the people that it hurts the most are the poor people, when you slow down progress, okay? Because what progress brings to the world is it makes life much better for everyone. And today, because of the progress we've made in the last 50 years, the poorest of the poor in the United States, they're not starving, okay? There were times when people were starving in the United States of America. That's impossible today because of the great abundance brought on by progress. But we have people that have this sick mentality that the good is evil. Good is evil, and that is an attack on progress. And that's a good way to sum it up, attack on progress. Now, you shouldn't, people who hate the great, okay, people who attack progress, okay, you should avoid them. Yeah, you should definitely avoid them. You shouldn't like them. I wouldn't hate them. I wouldn't waste my time on them. What I would suggest is, instead of worrying about the people and being obsessed about the people who are hating on the good and trying to find the people who are hating on the good. Because there's a lot of Bitcoin people, in the Bitcoin Inquisition, they're trying to find who they think is hating on the good, okay? And instead of having witch hunts and whatnot, now what you do is you support the good. So you take a positive way, because there are so many people out there who are doing good things, who are productive. You should reward the good. You should emulate the good. And you should not be ashamed of saying, you know what? That banker got rich, okay? That banker is in traditional finance. He worked hard. He created financial opportunities for all these people. Sure, it's not Bitcoin, but he was in motion. I don't have a problem with him. I don't have a problem with him at all. That's good. That's good. And some people automatically think all bankers are bad. No, or all CEOs are bad. You got to analyze each situation. You cannot. And again, I don't agree with all these CEOs' politics at all. Okay, but there are a lot of them creating lots of good out there in the world. And if you want to fight back against all the haters of good, then you support the good. You take a line in this. You put a line in the sand there and say, okay, I know Mark Zuckerberg is not the most popular person on earth right now, okay? And that people and that the government wants to do antitrust laws against him, sue him into oblivion. And sometimes his politics can seem a little leftist, but he's brought an amazing product to the world. He is productive. There should be more people trying to be productive. There should be more people should be in motion. Okay, so I'm not. If you attack the people who are in motion, you're helping the SJWs who don't want progress, who just want to guilt people. So think of it that way. Think of it that way. Now, we're going to get to Peter Schiff here. This is a good segue into Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff ripping on Bitcoin, no, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, him ripping on Bitcoin. But the situation he's in with us, Australian 60 Minutes right now, the Australian government, I linked to the video below where Peter Schiff explains the hit job Australian 60 Minutes did on him. And they did do a hit job on him, trying to make his bank seem completely corrupt, completely bad. Now, again, separate Peter Schiff's bank from what the insane stuff that Peter Schiff says about Bitcoin. And unfortunately, in this video where he's defending himself, he goes on to attack Bitcoin. And that I wouldn't advise him to do something like that. But the Australian government, all right, they are so restrictive to their people when it comes to the current events that are going on, okay, with the virus. And what they're doing with Peter Schiff, they're through 60 Minutes Australia, they're trying to scare people about money laundering and just trying to implement to make it seem okay. We're protecting you from people like Peter Schiff who money launder, okay? And this makes the people in Australia more likely to accept bans on cash, more monitoring from their government when it comes to their finances. And Peter Schiff is standing up against the Australian government and the United States government, for that matter, talking about how ridiculous all these laws are with the drugs and the monitoring every single thing, every single financial transaction. At the same time, Peter Schiff says that his bank does follow all the money laundering rules and whatnot. It is not some tax evasion haven for Australians, okay, which 60 Minutes Australia seemed to be implying there. And he is suing 60 Minutes Australia for defamation. So is it good that Peter Schiff rips on Bitcoin? No, it is not. Is Peter Schiff in motion, though? Yeah, he actually is in motion. I don't agree with the gold business. He has his own bank. He's trying to make money. He's trying to be productive. Part of his shtick is getting all the Bitcoin people angry at him to increase his marketing, okay? But just because he does some insane things, okay, doesn't mean you should support what insane 60 Minutes in Australia is doing or what the insane Australian government is doing, okay? Because he is speaking up against the Australian government, all right? And I give him credit for that. And we have seen how far the Australian government can go with what is going on in Melbourne at this very moment in terms of the virus. So I would much, I think what the Australian government is doing in Melbourne is far worse than anything Peter Schiff has ever done. So put it in perspective there. Now, today and other days when I'm walking to synagogue here in Salt Lake City, I walk by so many, and someone says pound that like button. Oh, Gary says pound that like button. How you doing? He's out on the West Coast having a good time. Who you wanted me to say hi to someone last time, Gary, and I didn't see it till after the show. So type in who I should say hi to, and I'll say hi to them when I see you. Type that in there. But I want to talk about how do you feel about de Blasio sending out his brown shirts to harass Orthodox Jews? Is truly bothering to us. It's unbelievable. It's amazing that he'll let a BLM protests go on, and then he'll break into he'll send police into Orthodox Jews' private houses and say you're not allowed to have 10 people in your house. I mean that's totally outrageous. But he knows he can get away with that in this environment because nobody who likes the who likes them who likes the guys in Williamsburg that don't talk to you. Okay. Now, I'm not some of the Orthodox Jews in Williamsburg, all the Satmar. I'm not a fan of the Satmar at all, okay? But I give the Satmar credit on this. I give the Satmar credit. The Satmar are a type of Orthodox Jew in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, okay? And and they want to pray, okay? They just want to get together. It's their own business. They're not hurting anybody else. They only stick together. They don't go anywhere else. They just hang out in Williamsburg with each other. They really are. They won't even talk to me, okay? They won't even talk to me. They speak Yiddish. They don't even speak English, okay? So, but for some reason, he feels the need. He wants to make an example out of anyone. He knows no one's going to defend them. But then it's okay to have a BLM rally. It's hypocritical. There's no rhyme or reason to this. What it should show you is that there shouldn't be any lockdowns at all. If you can have a rally, then you should be able to have 10 guys in your house. Okay, just let it go naturally. We'll talk about this on tomorrow's show, as I always do on the Beyond Bitcoin show. But yeah, of course, what he's doing is ridiculous. But I also want to say that the Satmar are also ridiculous in many ways. But they should be able to gather in their home, have 10 guys in the house, okay? And they should be able to pray to God, okay, in their synagogues and everything. It's unbelievable. But he also knows that in this, postmodern progressive New York City, no one respects religion anymore. Religion is a joke. Freedom of religion, who cares? Yeah, whatever. Some people are probably liking this lockdown because it's making people, all those crazy religious people can't pray anymore. It's a good thing. It's a good thing we have lockdown because we can stop religion. I'm sure there's some people that love it for that reason. All right, interesting question there though. But what the Satmar did at one point, they were getting angry in the streets. So if someone comes into your house, you should fight up. You should definitely fight back against them. No one has a right to come into your house and say you can't have 10 guys in your house because of some people have a cold or something. It's unbelievable. And people are just shaming them. Oh, they see it's religion. They're gathering. They're the ones spreading it. They're that's the society we're living in. Everyone's looking for a scapegoat for a problem that doesn't even exist. Just people are so prone to scapegoating, okay? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Now, all the SJWs out there, I'm not scapegoating it. I'm just saying what they do, okay? They're not causing me problems. If you want to be an SJW and complain about the whole world and be a tree, be my guest. You are free to do that. you're not causing me any problems here in the Bitcoin overlay. Hey, you're making a lot of noise, and I'm going to critique you. So be ready for it. Be ready for it. Okay, what did Web City? Did you tell me the guy to say hello to? You said pound that like button for Adam. Come on, who am I supposed to say hi to? Last week you wanted me to say hi to somebody. All right, so let's go back to what I was going to talk about here. Dismantle white supremacy sign. I see often. Well, not. Let me tell you, in Salt Lake City, I am still in shock. I've seen the entire time I've been in Salt Lake City, I've seen 7 black people, and I've seen about like 200 BLM signs, and I've seen more Black trans lives matter signs than black people. Literally, I mean, it's unbelievable. So all the people that are putting up these signs are white people. Take my word for it. Now they're free to do that. I'm not going to. It's a peaceful city. I'm not going to complain. There's all these crazy political signs, but here's this one sign that made me think. It says "Dismantle white supremacy," and there are a few of them. So obviously, it's a white person who puts "Dismantle white supremacy" sign on their lawn. So if I were to ever, and you see, this is a slogan that's around the internet. What do they mean? What do they mean? So you can have your sign, all right? I'm not saying make your sign illegal, but what do you mean? So I'm going to tell you what I think you mean. I think it's we have a system, the capitalist system, whatever they want to call it. That's what they think white supremacy is. Okay, that's what they are naming white supremacy. That's like a pretty bad term. Okay, that's a term that conjures up a lot of emotion. So you just, in the postmodern world, you define anything the way you want to define it. So white supremacy, they're defining as the way of the life in the United States. All right. And so white supremacy, how do you cure white supremacy? Well, you take from the people that you envy and you redistribute it. And I just want to say something to the people who say dismantle white supremacy. I don't know how far you want to go with the dismantling process, with the redistribution process, okay? But you're not getting anything from me. You're not getting my Bitcoin, all right? You're not getting my Bitcoin. And again, I'm going to speak the unspeakable here. You're losers, all right? You're losers. If you want to, if that's what you want to do, is you're envious of other people, so you want to take away their money and say it's white supremacy. That's the reason, okay? Why don't you produce? If you think there's a economic injustice, then you give away your wealth. You give away that nice house out there on the corner or whatever street I saw. It was a nice house. You give away, you sell your house and give it away. Okay, you're free to do something like that, all right? To dismantle white supremacy. But otherwise, you have no right to claim. You have no claim on anyone's wealth to redistribute it. Okay, and those of us in the Bitcoin overlay, you're definitely not getting any of our wealth. You're not getting any of our Bitcoin. And I'm proud of that fact. And so you're not dismantling my Bitcoin. And you can't guilt me into liking or joining you. Okay, that's another thing that sign does. Dismantle white supremacy. It's to conjure up guilt, and it works. It makes people feel guilty and makes people want to be part of that movement and say, okay, it's all right if you increase my tax rate or take some of my money away, and it's fine. I'll be a CUCK. You're not. It does work on some people. You can guilt people into joining the most ridiculous of movements. For me, let me tell you the truth. When you try that technique on me, I just don't like you. I just don't like you. And I'm going to say that right now. I don't like you. I don't like the people who want to dismantle white supremacy, a white supremacy that does not exist. That have to hide behind that. What they hide behind this guilt-laden term. What their true intent, what they're saying is, yeah, we want socialism, we want communism. I don't know how extreme they want it, because I can't interpret, exactly what is in their head, how far the dismantling is supposed to go. But I catch the drift, and I don't like you because you want to take from me. You want to dismantle me. All right, and we should say that. We should. Everyone out there that's got a voice, say it. Say it. Don't be ashamed to say what it is. I know white supremacy is a scary word. No, just say, what do you mean by it, dude? Do you mean redistribution of wealth? If you mean that, I don't like you, and you're not getting my wealth. And you go own your own wealth. Go be in motion, or you can go complain or whatever. Be my guest. But you're not affecting me. Now, most people don't think. We've talked about this before, and they want others to think for them, and they just want to fit in. Thus, fiat is irrational. But most people are irrational most of the time, as I've said. And MMT is also irrational. But if most people are irrational most of the time, and most people delegate their thinking to other people, well, then don't you see how fiat is irrational, but it will survive? That the dollar isn't going anywhere? So as I've said in past videos, think like an 80%er does. Try to think how they're thinking there, okay? Their irrational ways, because we are living in a realm of irrationality today. But you can do quite well in the irrational world because you think the way of an 80%er and you do the opposite, okay? All right? It's that simple. So 80%ers, they're not thinking long term. They're thinking impulsive. They want MMT. They want their check and everything. So what do you want? You want to think long term, and you want Bitcoin. There you go. Now, remember, check out This Week in Bitcoin. Reed Womack, Alex Svetsky were on, Al's Across. It's linked to below. And pound that like button like my shirt says to do. Roman Q the other day gave me a new saying. And I just want to say it on this special show. He says, outhold the IRS. Outhold the IRS. What's that mean? That means there are a lot of impulsive people out there. They're like, oh, I love to trade Bitcoin. I like to go back and forth between fiat and Bitcoin. And, oh, it just hit 30. And by the way, another day, another 2020 high. We just hit another 2020 high for you fiat freaks. But some people are like, oh, I want to profit take now. I want to profit take now. And when you do that in the United States, you owe the IRS money. You owe them money. And they know you did it because you bought it from Coinbase. You bought it from most likely you bought it from a place where you gave your social security number and you sold it at a place. They know, okay? You don't mess with the when you sell your Bitcoin for fiat, okay? You enter their realm. You enter the IRS's realm. So right now, if you enter the IRS's realm, you have to pay taxes. But what does this saying mean? Outhold the IRS. Well, in the year 2030, maybe Bitcoin is just going to be considered regular money. And if you, buy a car with it, or you pay some, you don't have to worry about how much you paid for it originally. It's not an asset where you're going to have to pay capital gains on, okay? Where you're going to have to worry about. Right now, you do have to worry about how much money, how much more your Bitcoin is worth than it was when you bought it. When you dispose of it, okay? But in the future, there's no telling how the rules might evolve. So you outhold the IRS. So if you don't need the cash right now, like me, you think 2024. You definitely think long 2024 halving at the very least, okay? You have that mindset because you're trying to outhold the IRS. At the same time, you can't time the market. There have been people that are like, well, I'm selling high now, I'll buy back low later. And they can't. It's not going back to $700. It's not going back to $1,300. All these people waiting for it to go back to $1,300. And now they're just picking their nose at $13,000. Pound that like button. Something else I noticed in Salt Lake City, you only see liberal signs. You only see Democrat. There was one Trump sign. I saw one Trump sign. And just hundreds of BLM signs, of Biden signs, and they're free to do that. But what I did notice, there are some houses, they don't have political signs on them, but they have American flags flying. I also noticed there are no houses that have American flags that have Biden signs or BLM signs in them. And maybe it's a way of Trump supporters saying I think it is. I think the people that are putting the American flags out there, that's their way of saying we support the president. Now, you can do what you want to do and everything. But I do find it quite interesting. With all these crazy signs that say like science matters, BLM matters, science is real, all these catchphrases, they never have American flags out. They have the rainbow flag out. They have the rainbow flag, not just the regular rainbow flag, the rainbow flag with the brown and the black on the top too. And there's, if you want to, it's amazing how BLM has been conflated with gay rights. I don't really get that one, but it's just like I think there's just some people out there. These I'm not going to generalize, but the white college liberal, whatever, that they feel like any movement for minorities is like a way to get back at their parents. I don't know, a way to get back at the man. So they embrace it and then they combine it. I mean, I got to be honest. I don't think I don't think some gay people care about black rights. I don't think some black people care about gay. I mean, I think some people just want to be individuals and just not and not get into these ridiculous mass movements and then like make a super mass movement that's at times contradictory on some of the things that it's supporting. But anyway, it's interesting observation. I don't know if any of you have noticed that too in the cities that you're in. If you're in cities that have a lot of these crazy signs in them, if the people ever have American flags in their yards with the signs, and yet for some people, they are definitely anti-American. They don't want this system. They want to get rid of white supremacy. And so by having a rainbow flag, it means I want to get rid of white supremacy. And that's not, I mean, originally, the rainbow flag is like, just treat us like human beings. Don't worry about what we do in our bedroom. And I think everybody can support that. But what some people are using it for today is like, I don't like the United States of America. And you're free not to like the United States of America, but dude, during this age that we're living in now with all these insane restrictions, there's no place I'd rather be right at this point. Be a citizen of, at least. And you get to pick and choose what state to go to. It's like 50 different countries in one. And from the land of people being in motion, Dennis, I told you about Dennis. He now just wrote for Bitcoin Magazine, and he's just a guy who, through my show, found out about another entity that publishes Bitcoin stories. And this entity has contacted me again. And listen up, people, if you want a job in the Bitcoin world, here's another one. Hey, Adam, thanks again for putting me in touch with Dennis. He's a superstar. We're also looking for an illustrator. If you know any Bitcoiners who might be interested, let me know. They can also be paid in Bitcoin. So it's a nice way to earn some sats. Ooh. There you go, people. There's an article out there today, women being forced to give up their careers. And so it's because of all the restrictions that are out there. Kids are being sent home and moms have to take care of the kids again, look after their kids again. Because the husband might make more money than them and doesn't want to give up his job. And so they say women are being forced. Okay. It's a choice. You had a career. It's career or kids. If you have kids, that's a responsibility right there. You can work it out with your husband. Who's making more money? You got to see what's financially best for you. So it's not they're making like society is forcing women to get back to take care of their kids. Now, these women who are complaining about being forced, because they're not being forced, that you have priorities. What's your priority? Your kids or your job? Okay. Everyone's got choices in life to make. But I do wonder, are these the same screaming Karens that say everything should be locked down? Okay. If they're those, they're supporting a government policy which is sending their kids home. They're only hurting themselves. But people don't think long. People don't think. They don't think like They just want to fit in, and they're scared and like, okay, let's shut down everything. It won't affect me, but lo and behold, yeah, it does. It does affect you. It brings the choice to the forefront, kids or career. And so, hey, man, compete, don't complain. If you were complaining about if you're saying, oh, please, government, solve my problem and lock everything down, and now you're like, uh-oh, I got to take care of my kids again. Well, think about it. Maybe you should change your philosophy a little bit. And also, so Southwest Airlines made an announcement that when I flew on Southwest, and I've flown on Southwest a few times now during all this ridiculous time period, the middle seats were empty, okay? Do you think if this is really an airborne virus, and I don't think it's very airborne at all, by the way. I agree with Carl Denninger, who's been saying since March that it's mostly fecal oral, okay? That you touch something and you put your hand in your mouth and you can get this cold. Okay, great. But if you think it's really airborne, does it make a difference if there's an empty seat between you and the next guy? Does it really, when you're on a plane, when people are getting up, when people are eating and taking off their masks, when people are going to the bathroom, okay, do you really think it makes that big of a difference? But so Southwest made this announcement. They actually had warned everyone that they were going to eventually have to fill the middle seats again. And all these people are spazzing online saying, oh, I'm never going to fly you again, Southwest. Okay, great. That's awesome, dudes. I think Southwest knows how to run their business better than you can, okay? There's going to be a point when they're going to have, there's supply and demand here. People want to fly again. When I flew on American Airlines from Asheville to Baltimore, okay, it was two different planes, and they were the type of planes, it's 2 seats and 2 seats. So, of course, you have to sit next to someone. Did I die because I sat next to someone on a plane? No, of course not. Has anyone gotten sick from a plane? Is there any documentary evidence of someone who got, are stewardesses getting sick? No, there's nothing like this has happened. All right. So the middle seat thing and the mask thing, it's just these feel good visuals to make these people think they're doing something. Okay. It's all in your mind, dudes. It's not helping. It's not, just if you're scared, then don't go on the plane. All right. If you're scared, then don't go outside. And don't try to dictate. If you're not flying on planes now, don't try to dictate a plane's policy, a company's policy. You don't know how to run Southwest Airlines. And if you have no intention on going on any plane, you have no business. You're not even their potential customer at all anymore. So, but there's so many people with time in their hands. They're just like, oh, look, now they're going to cause they're going to cause a spike because people are sitting next to each other on Southwest Airlines. It's ridiculous. I've been on Southwest Airlines. I've been on American Airlines. I've been living my regular life. People are living their regular. People don't realize this. There are so many people that are hooked on the mainstream media. They have no clue that people have been flying. People have been going places. People don't wear masks. People are out and they're not dropping dead. There's so many people that think if you go to a rally, that you go to a political rally, a Trump rally, that you're going to die. That there's no, you're not actually. You're not going to die. If you're a healthy person, no. It's just like 2019 if you went out. Or what are the chances of you dying? It's the same as they were beforehand if you're a healthy person. Now, if you've been stuffing your pie hole nonstop, well, you've always been, you're just finding out now the harsh reality that if you're an unhealthy person, you're more prone to get all sorts of different diseases, and you will get something one day. Finally, just retweet my tweet from, the clip of me from 2014 saying, Bitcoin is $420 right now. You should get a bunch of Bitcoin instead of buying a car. And I say, spend $25,000 on Bitcoin, or whatever I said. Spend $10,000 on Bitcoin, and get yourself a $25,000 car instead of a $50,000 car. And whatever I recommended, that Bitcoin is now worth $300,000. Had you taken my advice, I'm glad I took my advice. But I didn't buy a car, of course, but you know the rest of the story. I did buy Bitcoin in 2014 and 13 and 15 and 16. All right, let me see if there are any other questions out there. Tara's Comics says, I don't think you mentioned the name of the new entity looking to hire illustrators. Contact me. contact me. You know what? I should have said, email, DM me or email me. Email me at adam@tresorhelp.com or DM me over Twitter at techbalt, TECHBALT, and I will put you in touch with the person, the actual guy doing the hiring. So just getting rid of all sorts of middlemen. Not all health problems are the fault of the person, though. Yeah, if you get cancer, it's not necessarily your fault. No, I mean, you can be born with some terrible condition. That's not your fault. But so many of the people that are dying from this are their problems have been brought on by morbid obesity, and morbid obesity is, I think, all the time is entirely the person's fault. All right, that is it. My Bitcoin have never had a taxable event, says Roman Q. Good. I'm glad you're here, Roman Q. Sorry, I missed that beforehand. Okay, guys, we'll be back with Beyond Bitcoin tomorrow, and I'll have a picture in the thumbnail that I'm sure everyone will enjoy. That's been the tradition the last few weeks. Or all you dudes that value your wealth in something other than Bitcoin will enjoy it. It's always fun to tell a story about who's in the Beyond Bitcoin thumbnail with me. So enjoy, pound that like button like the shirt says. I'm Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister. Retweet it. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll say hi to you guys in the chat. Bye-bye.